Good morning and welcome to Transformations with Lauta Rasul. I'm Ahad Rasul, your co-host. Today we're speaking about moving into the new year. We're going to discuss how to produce the experience that we want, that we are looking forward to, and that will be best for our transformation in this next year, this year of 2016. So, before I delay anymore, let's go ahead and introduce the star of the show, Ms. Lauta Rasul. Good morning.
In Lakesh, Ahad, in Lakesh, salutations and greetings to everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are very excited about our show. It is the end of 2015 and we're moving rapidly into 2016. And we want to talk a little bit about destiny and what is already the trajectory for our future, as well as our ability to make free choice. You know, we live in a free choice universe, and this is a classroom, and all of our choices help us make or unmake ourselves in our educational process. So much of what is in your 2015 review in your mind of what went on in your life and your personal dynamic and your elevation experience in 2015 can be projected into 2016 in a way where you can shift into a higher vibration, a higher frequency, a greater experience, a more fulfilling and satisfying life. We have today a wonderful guest who is a very gifted psychic who will be talking to us about predictions for the year 2016. And she will be telling us some things that are already set, but not everything is set. Many things have the possibility of being opened, broadened, enlarged, improved on by our choices. It's very important that we remember that this is a free choice universe and we have the ability to choose the experience we want to whatever degree we can have it at that moment.
So how is it that I heard you say, our destiny or the things that are already to come, and that we have this idea of free will and free choice? How do those balance? Or how is it that there's something destined for you, but at the same time, you do have the free choice?
It's really very interesting. The universe is a culmination of all of our thoughts, experiences, and feelings, as well as the directive, the prime directive from the source creator. So all of that goes into, so to say, into the chute, so to say. And then all of our past lives have everything to do with how we present at this particular time in our lives. So what we have done, unfinished business, things that we have completed successfully in this classroom of Earth, our educational process, has everything to do with what our experiences will be. Our higher selves are really an aspect that helps direct the scenarios and the experiences that we have to prompt us to greater, higher, more advanced spiritual evolution. So sometimes that looks like it may be our destiny because the projection is so dynamic. We may have 80% that we're going to be married and have 5 children and live in a certain place. However, all of that is still within our range of being able to choose what will happen. So some things are set by what has happened before and what's in the mass consciousness and what has been developed by source. And then there are many things like how we behave within a framework that are not set. So we can decide when we're confronted with, a certain circumstance like a marriage, we can decide the marriage may be destined, but how we behave inside the marriage is not.
I get it. So it's the experience that we're going to have from a certain situation that's destined is what we can choose. So we can choose basically our happiness or unhappiness. We can choose our success or failure or whatever it may be, because there's certain things that are set for us to, like you said, this is a classroom. There's like a lesson plan already set. But if you pass the test or fail the test, has to do with if you studied or not, or if you choose to take the test properly, if you all these different things. So I'll say that that's actually seems kind of cool how we because I fully believe that everything that happens is supposed to be, you know. However, how even in that, that does not take the um, opportunity out of our hands to have the experience in our lives that we want, even though there's a bigger picture to our lives than just our view. I think that's so cool.
That's absolutely the case. And the last thing you said, which was, even though it's our view is everything. Our perspective on our experience is everything. How we perceive the meal that we're eating is everything. If we perceive it as alive and nourishing and giving us strength, that's one thing. If we perceive it as junk, that's another thing. It's all a matter of our perspective. It doesn't change the facts. Our perspective or our choices on how we will perceive or how we will receive makes all the difference. And with that, I'm going to invite our guest. Rain, are you there?
Yes, I am. And Lakesh?
In Lakesh, Rain, and thank you so much. I know that you have moved to Ecuador. You have moved abroad and you're visiting the United States right now, and we're fortunate to have you with us. We have had you on our shows previously and had wonderful response. So thank you so much for joining us. And I hope I'll be the first one to say Happy New Year to you. So thank you for being
Happy
here.
New Year to you. And I want to thank you for having me on again. I'm so honored.
So we're so pleased that you're going to talk to us. Are you going to talk to us about the previous year or about the next year coming in?
I'm going to talk about 2016.
Fantastic. So do I need to ask you any questions, or are you going to just share with us what your wonderful gifts have shown you?
We can do both. So, just jump in whenever you feel the need, okay?
Thank you.
I want to start out saying that 2016, I've been told, is for the good of all. And you're going to find out midway through what that means. And here's what's the forecast. There is an unrest in the world. In particular, I'm focusing on the United States because it's catalyst to the rest of the world. I want to start out talking about there's going to be a disconnection with the employer and the employee. And this is in the United States. And this is going to start out with a reduction in hours. It's like the full-time worker is almost going to be phased out. And so right after this reduction in hours, there are going to be some layoffs. And then what's going to happen is something is going to happen, and it involves, this is with the employers again. We're talking like major corporations where there's going to be some kind of deception. And the deception is all evolving around compensation. So this compensation involves like how a person is being paid, like differential pay if you work nights, holiday pay, and time and a half. And it's some kind of talk about holiday pay is really big, and what is considered a holiday is no longer a holiday of the past, okay?
Yes.
So what's happening is because of the reduction in hours and this thing that comes up with the deception in the pay, and it's more than one company, it's many companies are involved. And, you know, it's going to lead to like social protests, like, you know, the masses are going to be coming to the streets, but I'm going to get into that in a little bit. I want to talk about what's going to happen because this disconnection from the employer is making the individual go back to basics, like what's natural to them and like natural resources. And there's going to be like this conglomeration of merchants, and they're going to be selling products for the best price. And the best way that I can describe this is that these are all like self-employed merchants, and they're working together as an organization. It's on a grassroots level, okay? Does that make sense?
Like a collective? I'm seeing a collective. Is that where
Yes.
people get together and make their own circumstance where they can all benefit each other by banding together and supporting for a like cause? Is that right?
Yes, it's going to be kind of like if you think of the concept of the farmer's market or a co-op or something like that, or they got an even better one, like Amazon, okay?
Yes. Where one structure sells the products of others for everyone's benefit.
Yes, yes. So everybody's going to be like an independent contractor or something of that sort, because it's like it's getting to the point that people are working like 2-3 jobs or whatever to make up the difference, and it's only so many hours in a day, and you still have a family. So people are naturally going to go into this, and the people are going to be supporting it because the prices are going to be better than a corporation. So that's the first, this is like the first half of the year. And what actually happens from there, and this is, I'm going to go right into this because it starts out with the economic disempowerment, okay? Mm-hmm. Because people don't have the funds to do the things that they need, like the basic things that they need to do, because something also is going to be going on with the credit. I'm not quite clear exactly what that is, okay? It's something going on like with the credit cards, the credit or something. And then what happens is, you know, we're already in the midst of this foreclosure thing that's been going on for years. But it's going to be even more foreclosures. And then there's an aspect that's coming up with the students and the student loans, and they're not able to pay it back. And I see these like mass protests where you have sit-ins, and they're doing it for the economic disempowerment. And the other one is for social injustice, okay? And
yes.
That involves, I'm sorry, did you say something?
I was just saying, yes, I can see that.
Okay, and with the social injustice, it's really big, and it deals with inequality. So it's dealing with discriminations of all sorts, racial, sexual. And the social protests are like sit-ins, march-ins on the government organizations and such. And the thing that's really interesting about this is I'm being shown that this is all part of the plan, the great plan, or what you would want to call the golden age or the unnamed decade or whatever. Because what finally breaks, it's like the straw that breaks the camel's back, is these foreclosures. Because when you take everything away from a man or woman, okay, and there's nothing left to cling to, it's the house. When you take the house away, then they'll finally stand up and fight. Mm-hmm. They have nothing to lose. And so I'm being told this is the great reconnection of the people for the greater good of all starts in 2016. So it's the disconnection in the United States that starts to reconnect one another in the United States. And this is happening because of the distraction of the 9-to-5 struggle will collapse into the greater good of all. So you're going to have your grassroots organizations of these merchants. You're going to have the social protests, and you're going to have like the the great reconnection of the people. So it's not going to be this disconnection that you see anymore across the United States.
Well, that's amazing. I think now that you have laid it out so clearly, we can see that all of this is part of a master plan, and that, of course, as you said, once a man's home is gone, then he feels like he can stand up and say something.
Exactly. It's like I have nothing to lose. You've taken everything from me. So it's like this movement from the corporations to the individuals, like they used to have a long time ago, where you had individual businesses, not franchises, not corporations, but you could go in your neighborhood and you can find all kind of individual owners. So it's going back to that. And it's also this other concept where you have all the merchants, participating and cooperating together under one roof for the best price. And it's like these prices are going to beat the corporations.
Mm-hmm. All right. Ryan, we have to, we came up on our commercial break. So if you don't mind, we'll take a moment and, take a pause for the calls. And then on the other side, you can continue.
Okay.
All right. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we're back with Miss Lelta Russell and Miss Rain. Rain, are you there?
Yes, I am, Ahad.
All right. Yes, ma'am. I kind of stopped you right before the break. So if you would like to continue, go ahead.
Well, actually, if I may, I wanted, I have a little something for you, a prediction for 2016, if you're interested.
His mother's interested.
Wow, you're going to get a prediction for me. Internet radio. Yes, Rain, that's what I wanted. Yes, okay.
Now, your message I got is for you, 2016 is the year of influence. And it starts by you moving into a circle of influence. And it first starts out biological. And what I mean by biological is the push from Leola, okay? Mm-hmm. And so what's interesting about this is that you in particular have this spiritual entourage that arrived with you when you were born. And you're going to be finding out more about that. Well, you're special. Everyone is special, but it is something a little bit different about you. And that's probably a whole nother show, but you're working on some kind of technique to motivate others. And your influence is going to grow because of that particular technique that you're going to be using, okay? And also, this technique that you're working on to motivate others is it's a social movement that goes with DNA replicate, okay? Because what you're doing is, in your particular organization, you're bringing people in the organization and you're showing them a spiritual foundation through cleaning, empowerment, and there's a social aspect to that that's going to come out also, where it works with the good of all, okay? Because it's something, that you guys do too, that's similar to this ideal, this concept that I was telling you about, where you're going to have 1099 independent contractors, these merchants or producers, people who come together as a collective to offer their services under one roof, okay?
I don't know what to say, Rain. Wow, thank you.
Well, it fits right in with a principle that I'm very involved with, which is one for all and all for one. That is a major principle that's very active in my experience and that I'm working in all the time. And I can clearly see that that will come forward. And it leads me into my next comments and or questions concerning your previous prediction. I have made note many times that the work that we do, people often come to us because they've really hit the wall. They're not only between a rock and a hard place, they're between two rocks. And often, once a person gets to that point, that's when they arrive, so to say, on our doorstep. When we meet them at DNA Replicate, that's when we meet people generally because they have pushed the boundaries as far as they're able to from their perspective at that time. And it sounds to me like 2016 is a year where that experience will be greater than usual. Would you agree?
Yes, yes. It's like AHA also has something to do with these young people coming in, okay? It feels like it's something for everyone, okay? It feels like we have the young, the people in between, and the people stop right at about age 55, okay?
That's interesting. That's like in the old movie, The Matrix, where they only bring you to through the computer, I guess, at a certain age. It's kind of kind of an analogy.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead.
Were you saying something? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask in reference to what my mom just said and what you've just said that, well, I was just gonna state that that's one of our the experience that mom just said about how when people come to us, they're normally at their wits' end, so to say, and they've tried everything else and they're completely dissatisfied with the experience that this world has to offer. One of our passions, and specifically mine, since you brought me up, is for people to have something that they truly believe in or are comfortable and happy when in, and that feels like family to them. I think I've experienced, luckily, I've experienced the experience where I know what that feels like to have real family, even when it's not by blood relation. And that experience is something that we want for every single person to have. And as long as the way of the world and society is right now, it encourages everyone to do for themselves only, to be selfish, so to say, or to only think about themselves and to be separated from what gives us real influence and power, which is togetherness, being together. So I know that I can see clearly that as a whole, our mission here and what we're doing, we'll have an opportunity to fulfill it, plus some, in this upcoming year and years following, when things turn out the way that you're saying, because the people will need genuine people in their lives. People will need someone that they can come talk to. People will need someone who understands the struggle that they're going through and that cares. And that cares that those, not only the person come out of the situation, however, that their children have something better to, experience going forward and things like that. That's not based around the money, so to say. So I think that's it's a true passion of ours, and it's an experience that we try to give ourselves and everyone that comes into our lives, we try to give that experience ourselves every day. However, now we're going to have the opportunity to do what we really started this for, which is give the world the chance to have that same experience. Because we know what it feels like, and we want everyone to feel the same thing. So I'm excited. I'm extremely excited to see how we can go about, helping everyone, really, like truly helping everyone and causing everyone to feel as though we are all one and that they have a place, they belong, because so many people in this world feel as though they don't belong here, that they're here because they just ended up here, but they don't belong here, and we want everyone to feel as though they belong and they're loved. So I'm extremely thankful and happy that you have been able to give us this.
Yes, Rain, it's especially wonderful generally when we hear predictions of the future, and this prediction could have been delivered in a way that was very dire, but in point of fact, the opportunity inside of the what could be considered the chaos, the opportunity for peace, is huge. And I see now so clearly why some of my more recent frequency waters came for it, calm and harmony. It just all makes perfect sense now. and the timing too.
Yeah, you guys are already doing it because you have what you call the DNA family. And that is part of the reconnection of the people and the greater good of all. People need like a foundation, and they need a group of people on a social level too that they can knock ideals off of. And then I think your organization too, you have quite a few self-employed people.
Yes, quite a bit, and we also encourage and support all of those who are in that situation as well, as we are. We are self-employed too. So it all makes sense. And I want to get back to the original idea we spoke about when we opened the show about the idea of free choice, of the idea to choose to look at everything from the perspective of the freedom within it. That so many people make decisions every day because they have to go to work and they have to support the ideas that are supported by the company. So many people make decisions based on having to have a home of a certain type in a certain neighborhood, or even if it's not in a certain neighborhood. So once those parameters are, so to say, removed, then freedom and inspiration and creativity can ensue. So I can really see how this would be the bigger plan. I can really see how this comes together. I think this is a great message that you've delivered, and we're very thankful for you coming forward with these ideas.
Thank you very much. And, in the DNA family newsletter, I talk about the children that are going to come through, okay? Mm-hmm. It's interesting that the children that are being born now are equipped to deal with all of this.
Really?
Yes, very much so. All the children that are coming in are special. These are not your ordinary children that are coming in anymore.
Well, I'm noticing that with the young ones that they all do have very specific awarenesses that are different than what I saw in children 10 years ago and even 20 years ago.
Yes, they're coming in. They're equipped to deal with the reality, and we're learning how to shift from the past and walk into the future. So this is the beginning of all of this in 2016. And so people who are going toward their natural inclination and resources and gifts are already one step ahead of the game.
Yes, ma'am. And, to touch on what you just said and what my mom was just stating before, I've been extremely interested in sharing with and relaying to people the importance of seeing the value in what what we have to offer, regardless of the structure of the world and how you can go about doing it, or how you feel as though you might not be able to go about doing what it is that you have to offer. So, like, as an example, someone who has a specific calling or interest who allows it to lay dormant because they have to, oh, I need schooling to do this, or, oh, nobody's going to want to hear from me about this, or nobody's going to do this unless I have this, that, and the third. However, in actuality, that's your calling. It's in you regardless. So if you start applying it and doing it now, then you build up the interest from people and the trust. And so it so happens to be that 2016, people are going to be at the point where they're looking for whoever can help me, period. Whatever you have to offer, if you can help me, I need your help. So yeah, so be it. Like you said, it's gonna be a lot more small business individuals doing things and becoming active, because now what's in us, we have the opportunity for it to awaken, and we have the opportunity for it to use it. So if it's people who's giving guidance and just assistance and wise words, then so be it. They're gonna do that, even if their normal job is a truck driver. If really what's in them is to be a guide and to be a teacher and to give wisdom, then that's what they're really going to get the opportunity to do, because people are going to be more open to listening, because they're going to realize that this world and the way things are in this world right now is very short-lived, and it's coming to an end in the way that it's set up right now. So I think that should be exciting for everyone who knows that you have more to offer than what you're doing, what you're giving to your job, and what you're doing in your specific life right now. If you know you have more to give and offer to humanity overall, then keep in mind that this next upcoming year is the perfect opportunity for you to start stepping into that. And we're here to help anyone who needs assistance, looking into how to do that. We're here to help. So
one thing that helps make the shift possible is that the values are changing, because when the distraction when people go back to their livelihoods and their specialties and their God-given talents, they relax.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And they can communicate with one another. You have big urban areas where people don't even know their neighbors because they're working so much, and when you're in a more relaxed mode and when you enjoy what you're doing and you're at work doing what you are naturally gifted for, your whole value and your whole outlook on life changes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is, it's not going to be exactly a culture shock. It's just something that you'll move into naturally, because if you do what you love to do, then everything is going in a natural rhythm and flow of the universe instead of against it. Because when you take the mother out of the family structure and she has to work, and the father has to work, and the children are at school all day long, to 5 o'clock instead of getting out at 2 and 3 o'clock, and it's like they have to go to the job, the parents have to go to the job, so all of that's going to be relaxed. So it is a divine plan, for everything to go in a natural flow of the universe, okay? So it's like the values are going to be totally different than the way that they are, and it's going to start in 2016. And at DNA Replicate, you're already doing that. You're already assisting people in finding out what makes them tick. Some people are not even in touch with themselves by the time they come here because they haven't been given the opportunity to.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Rain, it looks like I'm we're a little beyond the time that we're supposed to stop for our commercial break. So we're going to have to take this
Okay.
next break. And I really, really, really am thankful for everything that you've had to offer. And we actually would love it if you wouldn't mind coming back for another show with us within the next couple of weeks. And then we can do this again and speak about more detail about some things that we have in mind, because you're so gifted. And this gives us a great platform to help everyone and give everyone a helping hand and a place to feel like they can come and experience the things that they really want to experience. So thank you so much, and please, we hope that you'll come back.
Thank you, Rain.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you soon.
Okay.
Welcome back to Transformations. And this is our Transformational Story segment. And we have Travaris, who has called in today from Florida. And Travaris, are you there?
Yes, peace and Lakesh.
And Lakesh, welcome to Transformational Stories. And I know you have a wonderful transformational story, which I have not yet heard, and I'm very excited about. Are you ready to share it?
Yes, I really am ready. It's about time.
Well, start wherever the beginning is.
Okay, well, first off, I would like to start by saying I'm extremely thankful for the great assistance that you provided for me over the last 2 years in running. And this type of work that I've associated with myself with, it's brought this much needed grounding into the movie that I call life, and brought a foundation within the spiritual and physical aspects of my life. And I've always had an interest in the metaphysical side of life, and but at the same time confronted with the question of how do I make this practical? So, give you a little background. I connected with Laura back in 2013, and I was having my own introspective studies of science and metaphysics, and I arrived to this understanding that DNA plays a vital role in this experience of the movie. So I better get these strands reconnected. So when I was presented with the sight, I viewed it, and it was as if every cell in my body said, yes, this is the truth, or you're in congruency with this. And also through some experiences, I've learned that your body will always tell you the truth, and through this process I've been going through, one of the main lessons is to trust what my body is telling me, and to really feel what it's attempting to communicate in response to any vibrations that's coming at you, whether it be a movie you're watching, a conversation you're having, or the environment that you're in. Your body will always respond. So, at that time when I connected with Loda, I went through the protocol, got the strands reconnected, did the soul clearing, got energetically cleaned up. And it brought me to this point of being able to perceive reality in a much clearer way. And, without negative encumbering, limiting thought forms and things like that, and being able to maintain peace and mindful that I'm in control. I run the show based on the choices that I make. So take responsibility. So around that time, when I connected with Laura, I was living in Florida. I shortly moved to Chicago, and it was a whole lot of shifts taking place. The universe was taking things away from me and people away from me out of my life that really wasn't helping out. This has got to go. And I learned real quick that if you resist, the universe is going to snatch the rug right from under your feet. You're going to have to let go. So anyways, during this time, I'm traveling, I'm gaining awareness of myself, I'm getting all cleaned up. The shift is real. And based on certain circumstances, I had to go back home, move back home to Miami, Florida. And in doing so, it meant I had to live with my family. Now, family. I'm sure many of the people that are listening, they have shared the experience of how great of a test being at peace and harmony with your family members can be, especially when you're on this type of journey of cleaning yourself and clearing yourself, getting back to you. So, it showed me just how much we as individuals can be stuck in our past, and how other individuals from your past can project your old self onto the new improved version of you. So this was a major test y'all. Like, for real, this was a big one. It was as if the universe was saying, okay, you've accumulated all this knowledge, self-awareness, you got energetically cleaned up. Let's place you back in a home where you receive most of the conditioning and see how that plays out. Action. And I think it's such a joke and it's so funny, but the way how it played out was just brilliant, The universe knows. So anyways, being back at the like in the presence of my family, like a few things quickly became apparent. For one, I noticed my growth. I saw that through the work I've been doing, the cultivation of my mind, my body, clearing myself, that I truly sprouted out the concrete, and then two, that there's still flowers stuck under that same concrete. So I arrived to this home where it had the energies of addiction, clutter, hoarding, bitterness, adultery, argumentative energies, just downward spiraling. And I would often say to myself, yo, universe, you got to be kidding me. You place me in this environment where people are arguing before bed. They do it in the morning, repeat the same process over again and again. How am I supposed to be the peace? So this was ultimately that test. I felt outnumbered, I felt overpowered, and I wondered, how am I going to make it out of this? Because this is all a frequency thing, and environment plays a major part on the conditioning factor. So, after living with them for a few months, I also realized that the energy of appeasement was playing out, with my interactions. And again, frequency is contagious. And if you're in an environment where a lot of negative things are going on, it's gonna seep over, So, I started pacifying different needs that they had based upon guilt I was throwing out. And, in other words, I wasn't honoring myself, my truth, my body, and what it was telling me. So, basically time passed a little bit, and let me see, on my birthday, I had this talk with Lauda. So this is when it gets real. Got this energetic pow on the back of my hand. It was filled with love, of course. And she provided me this reminder that, when you know better, you're supposed to do better. And there's people out there who they just simply lack the awareness of what it is to take responsibility for your reality and how to communicate properly to others and to show them respect. But this, so there's no excuse for me to drag myself into a lower frequency by someone who isn't aware of this principle. So, because I know that my thoughts are and my actions are shaping my reality, and I have the tools to clean and clear, I must be the peacemaker. So, what did I do? I put on my man pants, and I stepped to the plate, and basically put forth the action and the knowledge that I gained over the time of how to protect myself, how to clean my thoughts out, and put up these energetic barriers where there's a form of detachment, and I'm not allowing myself to be flustered emotionally. So the more that it's just basically embodying peace. And the more this acceptance of the responsibility for my emotional state of being played out, it's like there was more understanding and more compassion towards my family members through just observing them, and at the same time doing Ho'oponopono mentally, because you got to do that. But I started to see the different areas of hurt and the pain that my mom, my grandmother, my uncle, that they went through, that they didn't truly know how to express it. They never really had anyone who probably understood or allowed them to express it. Just a lot going on. So it built up this compassion and allowed me to put myself in their shoes. So fast forward a little bit, and after the first quantum light property clearing class, I made this huge quantum leap in frequency, and I was able to anchor down the peace and the control of my emotions even more. So I'm at this level, nothing could faze me. I'm good. And I failed to mention earlier, though, that a little bit of the energy that built up over time with the family was this energy of resentment. It developed by seeing these things that made me uneasy or unhappy, based off of lifestyle choices and things like that. But once once the quantum property clearing, the second class passed, the lesson of acceptance kicked into gear. And it was always presented to me, it was always hinted, but the true application of acceptance of my family, where they are, this is a free choice universe. They're in control of themselves just as much as I am. And I have to respect the choices that they make. They may be at peace with it, and I may not necessarily think it's the greatest thing, but they have free will, they have choice. Respect it, and just move on. So from there, it's like it ushered in like the greater acceptance of life and all situations that's thrown at me or just human beings in general. Everything is basically like the divine in some shape or form. Some people know it, some people don't, and it's okay. And to ultimately just share your light and hold up your truth, in all that you do. So, from doing this, it really started making a difference. A huge difference in the environment by actually doing the Ho'oponopono when there's arguments. You can see the magic happening. You can see the arguments starting to slow down, the voices drop. I even got my grandmother to start singing Ho'oponopono from some YouTube video that's online. It's a slow ballad, but to actually experience moments like that, the shift is real. So that's why there's just much thanks and appreciation. So after making this peace with my grandmother, I had the thought, let me get my soul retrieval. I need that. I need to get my pieces. I need to get whole. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, this was after the mass clearing. The mass clearing really did something to me. Because healing all those souls, it significantly affected me in a positive way. That peace, during the session, it was peace. Afterwards, this blanket of peace was there. And it's wonderful how it played out, because I found out that my grandmother actually had 2 of my soul pieces, and it was from some traumatic event from my childhood. And just thankful and grateful that I took those steps to get the ball rolling on that. And, it goes to show that when you take one step, the universe will definitely take 10 more. So it's lovely how the movie is playing out. And there used to be times where I wasn't able to create, and my passion and just hurt from childhood memories with my gift of doing art. And now I am just like doing my thing. I'm in my flow again, and business is even coming to me, and I haven't been marketing myself like that yet because I'm still making my business plan, but it's so much awesomeness that's happening right now, and I'm just really thankful, and it's a byproduct of the work that I've been doing, the cultivation of myself, and through these services that allow to present. So, again, really thankful to be able to have tools to clean my environment, to clean my thoughts, and this is really some power versus force, because it allows you to tap into the inner power you have versus really trying to force someone into doing something the way how you think they should do it. It really changes the game up. And there's one other thing I would like to share, that through the mass clearings, we've, me and a few of the other Quantum Light property clearing students, we started clearing schools. And that itself has also had a shift on me. I've cleared thus far my elementary school and my middle school, and it's clearing up things from my past, things from my childhood, and I also get a good glimpse of the type of environments that I spent a great majority of my time in, how that imprinted me growing up, and it carried over. So, healing is really taking place right now, and the work that we're doing, the ripple effect is going to be major. And it all starts on an individual level. It starts with clearing yourself. So that's pretty much my story right there. And feel like I said a mouthful. I hope we have that under 10 minutes, but that's
No
that.
worries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a mouthful, but it was what we needed to hear.
I think that this will assist many. I think so many people are having the same experience with their relatives and their families, and these issues of finding peace within themselves. I'm sure that this will help many. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your most intimate experience with us. In Lakesh Tavares.
Peace in Lakesh.
It always amazes me how everyone can come on and be so open and honest and express so much of their personal situation. I think it's beautiful, but I think it's what we're here for. You know, everyone wants to express. However, very few get the opportunity, or people who will lend an ear, an honest, caring ear. So we're very happy to be that person or that platform to do that. Now, we have to wrap up now, so I'd like to invite everyone to contact us if you're interested in any more information about what we do, interested in our property clearing class, our Quantum Light property clearing class. We have one being held in January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th in Florida. And we also have one coming up in March in Atlanta, Georgia. So if you're interested in finding out any more information about any of this, you can visit our website at www.dnareplicate.com, or you can send us an email at laota, Laota, of the sun, OFTHESUN @gmail.com. Thank you very much, everyone, and until next week, in Lakesh.
In Lakesh.